It was the fourth part of Indiana Jones garbage. But what about the fifth part? When I got out of the cinema, I thought to myself,
nice.
the film, yeah, it's good, but nothing on this film comes close to comparing with anything from the original trilogy. And actor Mads Mikkelsen, all I see on the screen, I tell myself, he deserves the Oscar. This movie has some pros and cons, but is it worth watching? Complete the video to the end to know. But before the beginning, prepare your favorite drink, and let's start. But in the beginning, for those who do not know the story of this movie, I will tell you about it. What's the story? Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny opens with a sequence set at the end of World War II, with Indiana Jones and his friend Basil trying to rescue an ancient religious artifact from the Nazis. Instead, they find half of Archimedes' Antikythera mechanism, a mechanical dial that's said to bring untold power to whoever possesses and masters it. Indy tangles with sinister Nazi scientist Fowler, but he and Basil manage to escape with the dial. Years later, in 1969, Dr. Jones is freshly retired from teaching when he receives a visit from Basil's daughter, Helena, who's eager to get her hands on the dial. But why exactly? Indy quickly finds himself caught up in yet another adventure as the truth unfolds. The characters? 1. Harrison Ford. This is and isn't the same Indiana Jones that we have grown to love over the past several decades. And it shouldn't be the same character, especially because it's been so long since we've seen him. I think perhaps the movie edges toward making him a bit too glum, but at the same time, the film also manages to make him sympathetic and endearing. 2. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. The movie gets especially bad once Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character comes in. Nothing wrong with her performance at all. I think she's pretty good with what she's given, but they set her off as kind of this female version of Bellick, which is an interesting road to go down. But then they quickly change and make her just another sidekick. It feels like most of her role was reshot, which is really weird. 3. Jürgen Voller. Mads Mikkelsen. Dr. Schmidt, a former Nazi scientist now working for the US government. Mikkelsen delivers a straightforward performance in line with the numbers material he's given. But the character stands out as an Indy nemesis whose own obsession with past failures has led him back to his old foe. He and Indy are two sides to a coin. For me, actor Mads Mikkelsen is one of the best actors in the last 10 years. He has provided a lot of strong workers, such as Another Round and The Hunt, Riders of Justice. It was always a major reason for the success of any movie. But there was one problem in Mads Mikkelsen's, that he didn't show up often. And when he doesn't show up, that's my reaction. 4. Ethan Isidore. There's a kid sidekick in this movie, now Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, which has the best head sidekick of all time. And in this one, they virtually cloned the character with Ethan Isidore, playing a streetwise kid who in the climax ridiculously flies an airplane like he's Maverick in Top Gun. I have a request. I wish with all my heart that you subscribe to the channel. We get tired of writing scripts and editing videos, but we do not get views. But I will continue to download videos because I love what I do. But if you subscribe to my channel, I will be pleased. Is it any week? I was kind of hooked from the opening scene. On the train, I thought that was pretty good. But after like the third chase sequence, I started checking out a little bit. For me, an action-adventure film is going. This movie just didn't feel like it has some sort of special Indiana Jones magic that we can only get from an Indiana Jones movie. It just felt like another piece of popcorn entertainment that's kind of forgettable. The movie goes so off the rails, you can't believe that any of this is actually happening in an Indiana Jones film. It's also long. It runs close to 2.5 hours, and the other Indiana Jones movies barely run over 2 hours each, and they're zippy. The pace is so good. They're fast roller coaster rides. This one has long, dull stretches, and it feels like it was made to be watched in chunks on a streaming service, rather than the big screen, which is too bad because the movie is visually quite slick. It's not that there's no impressive production design or visual effects work, it's just that the directing is bland. And that's where the movie doesn't live up to the franchise, because Steven Spielberg is a director with personality, who makes interesting blocking choices, framing choices, and his shot selection is more carefully done. James Mangold has directed some fine films. I really liked Ford v Ferrari and Logan. They're well-assembled movies, they look nice. But if we're being honest, they don't really have a distinct style, and James Mangold unfortunately just feels like a hired gun here. I think that the most beautiful part when watching a movie is discussing the topic with other people. So tell me what you think about Indiana Jones. What did you like about the movie, and what did you hate about the movie? And how much do you give the film out of 10? I will tell you in my rate at the end of the video. Is it any good? This satisfying fifth, and presumably final, Indiana Jones adventure hits all the right beats, understanding that these movies have always been about more than just chases and fights. Directed by James Mangold, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny has some of the same flavors that he brought to his earlier movies about seasoned adventurers and plenty of souls. Ford, 80 at the time of the movie's release, is allowed to look and feel his age. While climbing a stone wall in a cave, he complains about his aches and pains. And yet the stunts in action are all very much still exciting, with Waller-Bridge more than holding her own. A pair of flashbacks that use de-aging digital technology to give us a younger Indy is nearly seamless too. One of the best things about the Indy movies is that they revel in scenes set in musty old libraries or storage rooms and delight in the piecing together of 1,000-year-old puzzles. And this one is no different. These beats provide rests between chases and build the characters. Even though Mangold goes along with Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, at 154 minutes, the pacing largely feels right. We really get the sense of just who Indiana Jones is here, what his history is, and how he feels about things. Now that his story is well and truly told, he's still our hero, but we feel like part of his family. What is my rate? In the end, it was a good movie. I advise everyone to watch it as soon as possible. But do not compare this part in the first 3 parts, so that you enjoyed watching it. My rate for the film is 7 out of 10. Do not forget to tell me how much you rate the movie out of 10. And do not forget to subscribe to the channel to receive all new